Deadly floods in Afghanistan leave thousands without homes. A high-rise construction fire sends thick black smoke across Dubai Marina. 2 women are killed by an express train at Bakhtiyarpur station in India. A lightning strike during a mountain trip turns deadly in Tursunzade. Rapper Navai crashes a Ferrari into a traffic light in central Moscow. 2 missing tourists are still being searched for in the mountains of Karachay-Cherkessia. An unexpected geomagnetic storm hits Earth and lights up northern skies. Now, the world's biggest stories in the last 24 hours.
Afghanistan is continuing to deal with the aftermath of deadly flash floods triggered by weeks of heavy rainfall. According to humanitarian reports and local authorities, at least 16 people have been killed in the latest wave of flooding. Several others were injured, while hundreds of homes were either destroyed or heavily damaged. Preliminary assessments indicate that more than 500 houses have collapsed completely. The floods have affected multiple provinces across the country since late April, with eastern and central regions among the hardest hit. Authorities say rivers overflowed after intense downpours, sending powerful torrents of water through villages and rural communities. Emergency crews responded to flooded areas where roads, bridges, irrigation systems, and farmland were washed away. In several districts, transportation routes connecting Kabul with nearby provinces were temporarily blocked by floodwater and mudslides. Afghanistan has already been struggling with severe weather this year. Earlier reports from local disaster agencies stated that more than 100 people nationwide have died over recent weeks due to floods, landslides, storms, and lightning strikes. Videos shared online show collapsed mud brick homes, submerged streets, and residents trying to rescue belongings from fast-moving water. In some villages, entire neighborhoods were reportedly left underwater within minutes. Aid organizations and rescue teams remain on the ground delivering emergency assistance, food, drinking water, and temporary shelter to displaced families. Authorities say the situation remains difficult as additional rainfall could trigger new flooding in vulnerable mountain regions. The full scale of the damage is still being assessed. A deadly fire broke out inside the Argovan shopping complex in Andisha, near Tehran, Iran. According to Iranian media reports, the fire started inside one of the commercial sections of the building before rapidly spreading through multiple floors. Thick black smoke quickly filled the area and could be seen rising above the city from several kilometers away. Authorities say at least 8 people were killed in the incident, while 41 others were injured. Most of the injured reportedly suffered minor burns, smoke inhalation, or panic-related injuries, and received medical treatment directly at the scene. Only 1 victim required hospitalization. Emergency crews responded within minutes as firefighters and rescue teams attempted to evacuate visitors and workers trapped inside the complex. Witnesses described scenes of panic as people rushed toward exits through heavy smoke. Videos circulating online show flames moving through parts of the building while emergency sirens echoed across the area. Several sections of the shopping center reportedly suffered severe fire damage. Firefighters worked for hours to bring the blaze under control and prevent it from spreading to neighboring structures. Authorities later confirmed that the fire had been contained. The exact cause of the incident remains under investigation. According to preliminary reports, officials are considering several possible causes, including an electrical short circuit and violations of fire safety regulations. Local authorities have launched an inspection of the building's emergency systems, evacuation routes, and fire protection equipment. The full scale of the damage is still being assessed as investigators continue examining the scene. A tragic railway accident was caught on CCTV at Bakhtiyarpur railway station in the Indian state of Bihar. The incident happened on May 4th at around 2:24 p.m. local time as the Farakka Express, traveling from Delhi to Malda, was arriving at the station. According to preliminary reports, 2 women attempted to cross the railway tracks in order to reach the platform instead of using the designated crossing area. At that moment, the high-speed passenger train was approaching the station. Witnesses say one of the women nearly made it across the tracks, but both were struck by the train seconds later. A man who reportedly tried to help them escape managed to jump away just in time. Both women died at the scene from severe injuries. Security cameras recorded the entire incident, and the footage quickly spread across Indian social media platforms, triggering widespread discussion about railway safety and dangerous track crossings. Authorities temporarily suspended train movement through the station, while emergency crews and railway police responded to the scene. Officials say incidents like this remain a serious problem across India's railway network, where overcrowded stations and attempts to save time often lead pedestrians to cross tracks illegally despite repeated safety warnings. Railway authorities have once again urged passengers to use footbridges and designated crossings instead of walking across active rail lines. The investigation into the incident is ongoing. 2 tourists are facing heavy criticism after approaching a wild bear and her cubs near Lake Tahoe on the California-Nevada border. The incident was captured on video and quickly spread across social media platforms. In the footage, the women can be seen walking dangerously close to the bear family while talking to the animals as if they were domestic pets. At one point, the tourists begin speaking to the bears in a playful tone while continuing to move closer. The bear appears calm in the video, but wildlife experts say the situation could have turned deadly within seconds. Authorities and animal specialists warn that mother bears with cubs are among the most dangerous encounters in the wild because the animals can become extremely aggressive if they feel threatened. The video triggered a wave of backlash online, with many users accusing the tourists of irresponsible behavior for risking both human lives and the safety of the animals. Wildlife officials in the Lake Tahoe region say black bears have become increasingly active near tourist areas due to food left behind by visitors and growing human activity around forest zones. Experts also point out that repeated close contact between bears and humans often ends badly for the animals themselves. If a bear becomes too comfortable around people or starts approaching populated areas regularly, authorities may eventually classify it as dangerous and euthanize it. Officials are once again reminding tourists to keep a safe distance from wildlife, avoid feeding animals, and never approach bears for photos or videos. The situation remains under discussion online as the footage continues spreading across the internet. Animal rescue teams in India are continuing a large-scale operation after dozens of abandoned Siberian Huskies were discovered near the Shankarpally-Patancheru area outside Hyderabad. According to local animal welfare groups, the dogs were found in extremely poor condition after reportedly being left without proper food, water, or shelter in intense heat. Rescuers say many of the animals were severely dehydrated, weak, and unable to move normally when they were discovered. At least 8 Huskies have already been rescued and taken for emergency veterinary treatment, while search teams continue looking for more dogs believed to be scattered across nearby industrial zones, fields, and open land. The case sparked outrage across Indian social media after videos and photos of the exhausted dogs began circulating online. Veterinarians involved in the rescue operation say several of the Huskies showed signs of heat stroke, infections, malnutrition, and long-term neglect. Some required immediate medical intervention to survive. Authorities and animal rights organizations believe the dogs may have been abandoned by breeders or owners who could no longer care for them. The incident has once again raised concerns about the growing popularity of northern dog breeds in extremely hot climates. Siberian Huskies are genetically adapted for cold environments and often struggle in temperatures that regularly exceed 40 degrees Celsius in parts of India. Animal welfare activists are now calling for stricter regulation of breeding practices and stronger punishment for animal abandonment and neglect. Rescue teams say the total number of abandoned dogs is still unclear, and the operation remains ongoing as crews continue searching the area for missing animals. A mountain hike ended in tragedy for 3 high school students near Tursunzadeh in Tajikistan. According to preliminary reports, the teenagers were hiking in a mountainous area when weather conditions suddenly changed. A thunderstorm quickly moved into the region, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and lightning. Moments later, the students were struck by a lightning bolt. One of the teenagers died at the scene from severe injuries. The 2 others survived, but suffered serious burns and other traumatic injuries. Emergency crews transported them to a hospital, where doctors continue fighting for their recovery. Rescue teams and local authorities later arrived at the location to investigate the incident and assist the victims. Residents in the area say mountain storms are common during spring, especially in the afternoon, when weather conditions can change rapidly within minutes. Experts warn that mountainous terrain becomes extremely dangerous during thunderstorms because people on exposed slopes or elevated ground are at much higher risk of being struck by lightning. Authorities are once again urging hikers and tourists to closely monitor weather conditions before entering mountain regions and to immediately seek shelter when storms begin developing. The exact circumstances surrounding the incident remain under investigation, while officials continue monitoring the condition of the injured students. The United Arab Emirates is reportedly considering the creation of a new, large-scale investment fund focused on defense technology and military industries. According to Bloomberg, the proposed fund could invest in defense companies around the world, including drone manufacturers in Ukraine and Turkey. Sources familiar with the discussions say the project is being considered as regional tensions continue rising across the Middle East, pushing the UAE to accelerate the development of advanced military technologies. Reports indicate that conversations about the fund are taking place at the highest levels of leadership in Abu Dhabi, including within circles connected to the Crown Prince. The investment strategy could reportedly focus on unmanned aerial systems, artificial intelligence, electronic warfare technologies, surveillance systems, cybersecurity, and modern battlefield innovations. Military analysts note that the UAE has been rapidly expanding its defense sector over recent years, aiming to become a major regional player in advanced technology and weapons development. Particular attention is reportedly being placed on drones, after recent global conflicts demonstrated how critical unmanned systems have become for reconnaissance, precision strikes, and modern warfare operations. The UAE has already invested heavily in aerospace, defense manufacturing, and military partnerships with international companies. Experts say the new fund could significantly increase the country's influence in the global defense market. Officials in the UAE have not publicly confirmed detailed plans for the project, and the exact size of the potential fund remains unclear. The situation continues developing as discussions reportedly move forward behind closed doors. A serious luxury sports car crash took place in central Moscow on the evening of May 5th. The accident happened on Zubovsky Boulevard, where a Ferrari F12 Berlinetta reportedly lost control, left the roadway, and slammed into a traffic light at high speed. Videos from the scene quickly spread across Russian social media. The footage shows the front section of the Ferrari heavily destroyed, with debris scattered across the road. According to eyewitness reports and multiple Telegram channels, the car was being driven by rapper Navai, one half of the popular music duo Hamali and Navai. Authorities say the driver survived the crash without serious injuries. However, reports indicate that the person behind the wheel left the scene after the accident. At the time of reporting, Navai had not released an official public statement regarding the incident. The Ferrari F12 Berlinetta involved in the crash is a rare, high-performance Italian supercar, powered by a V12 engine. Depending on specifications and condition, similar models in Russia can cost the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police and traffic investigators are now working to determine the exact circumstances of the crash. Preliminary reports suggest excessive speed or loss of control on the roadway may have contributed to the accident. No fatalities were reported, and authorities say the investigation remains ongoing. Rescue teams are continuing a large-scale search operation in the mountains of Karachay-Cherkessia after 2 tourists from Astrakhan disappeared during a hiking expedition. The missing women, 24-year-old Daria and 23-year-old Victoria, who was reportedly leading the group, began their journey from Teberda on April 24th along a registered mountain route stretching roughly 60 kilometers. According to rescue officials, the hikers planned to reach Arki's by May 3rd after crossing several remote mountain areas. One of the key points along the route was Lake of Love, a high-altitude mountain lake located about 2,400 meters above sea level and known among tourists for local legends and scenic trails. The last communication with the women reportedly took place on May 4th, between approximately 2:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. local time. Using a satellite phone, the tourists contacted emergency services and reported a sudden deterioration in weather conditions while asking for help. Shortly afterward, communication was lost completely. Authorities say the region experienced severe weather in recent days, including heavy rain, wet snow, dense fog, and rapidly dropping temperatures. Visibility in some mountainous areas reportedly fell close to zero. Emergency crews, mountain rescue specialists, dog handlers, and drone teams have been deployed to search the region. However, the operation remains extremely difficult because of dangerous terrain, avalanche-prone slopes, and unstable weather conditions. Officials noted that the women had properly registered their hiking route with emergency services before beginning the trip, which allowed rescuers to react more quickly once contact was lost. The search operation remains ongoing, and authorities say no confirmed information about the women's whereabouts has been received so far. The situation remains tense as rescue crews continue scanning the mountainous region. Police are reportedly examining surveillance camera footage from the park and attempting to identify the individual involved. At this time, no information about a detention or arrest has been released. The incident has also sparked renewed discussions online about public safety in parks and the importance of reporting suspicious behavior immediately to authorities. Fire crews in the U.S. state of Arizona are continuing to battle the growing Hazen Fire in Maricopa County. The wildfire began on May 3rd near Buckeye, south of Phoenix, and quickly spread through dry desert vegetation under hot temperatures, strong winds, and extremely low humidity. According to fire officials, the blaze has already burned between 550 and 980 acres of land, roughly 220 to 400 hectares, consisting mostly of dry brush and invasive salt cedar vegetation, which burns rapidly and helps fire spread quickly across open terrain. Emergency crews and firefighting aircraft were deployed to the area as smoke from the fire became visible across parts of the region. Authorities say containment remains at 0%, meaning firefighters have not yet been able to fully stop the spread of the flames. So far, no deaths or injuries have been reported, and officials say no residential structures have been confirmed destroyed at this stage. However, the situation remains dangerous as weather conditions continue to support rapid fire growth. Residents in nearby areas have been warned to stay alert and prepare for possible evacuation orders if the fire moves closer to populated zones. Wildfires are a recurring problem across Arizona during the dry season, especially when strong winds combine with drought conditions and highly flammable vegetation. Investigators are still working to determine the exact cause of the fire, as emergency crews continue containment operations on the ground and from the air. An unexpected geomagnetic storm hit Earth on May 4th after a powerful interplanetary shockwave slammed into the planet's magnetic field at approximately 1450 UTC. Space weather experts originally predicted only weak geomagnetic fluctuations, but the situation intensified rapidly as the disturbance reached Earth's magnetosphere. According to monitoring agencies, the storm reached a G2 level, which is classified as a moderate geomagnetic storm, capable of affecting radio communications, navigation systems, satellites, and power infrastructure under certain conditions. Scientists believe the disturbance was likely caused by a slow-moving interplanetary structure connected to a weak coronal mass ejection released by the Sun in late April. However, experts say the exact source of the event has still not been fully confirmed. Despite being relatively short in duration, the storm produced strong enough geomagnetic activity to trigger visible auroras across high-latitude regions. Images and videos of northern lights quickly appeared online from parts of Canada, northern U.S. states, and several countries in northern Europe. In some areas, the sky reportedly glowed with bright green and purple colors for several hours. Researchers say the event surprised even experienced space weather forecasters because early models did not fully predict the intensity of the magnetic disturbance. So far, no major infrastructure failures or serious satellite disruptions have been officially reported. However, monitoring agencies continue tracking solar activity closely in case additional geomagnetic disturbances develop in the coming days. Scientists are still analyzing the storm to better understand how the solar structure intensified so unexpectedly before reaching Earth. A large fire broke out on the morning of May 6th at a high-rise construction site in Dubai Marina. According to local emergency services, the fire started at approximately 7:06 a.m. local time at a tower under construction, reportedly near the Al Habtoor Grand area. Witnesses say flames quickly spread across parts of the construction site, sending a massive column of thick, black smoke into the sky. Videos recorded by residents and tourists showed smoke rising high above Dubai Marina and visible from several kilometers away. Emergency crews responded rapidly, with firefighters arriving roughly 7 minutes after the first reports of the blaze. Several fire engines and rescue teams were deployed to the area as authorities moved to prevent the flames from spreading to nearby skyscrapers and residential buildings in one of Dubai's most densely developed districts. Officials later confirmed that firefighters managed to contain the blaze by approximately 8:51 a.m. local time. No deaths or injuries have been reported. Authorities say the exact cause of the fire remains under investigation. Preliminary reports suggest the blaze may have involved construction materials or equipment located on the site. Dubai Marina is one of the busiest and most heavily populated areas in Dubai, filled with residential towers, hotels, restaurants, and tourist attractions. Because of the area's density, the fire immediately attracted widespread attention online. Emergency officials continue examining the site as investigators work to determine what triggered the incident. A heartwarming moment from the San Diego Zoo has gone viral after a family of otters unexpectedly entertained visitors during a public viewing. Zoo staff reportedly guided visitors closer to the otter enclosure so guests could get a better look at the animals during feeding and playtime. But the otters quickly became the stars of the day themselves. In the now viral video, a mother otter can be seen swimming toward the viewing glass while holding her baby close, almost as if she was proudly introducing the pup to the crowd. Seconds later, attention shifted to the father otter, who appeared carrying a large round stone in his paws. The animal then hovered near the glass, seemingly showing off the rock to visitors like a prized possession. People watching the scene immediately began laughing and recording the interaction on their phones. Social media users quickly filled the comments section with jokes, calling the otter the most typical dad on Earth for proudly presenting a random rock to everyone nearby. Zoo experts later explained that otters often use stones as tools to crack open shells and can become attached to certain objects they regularly carry and store. The wholesome moment quickly spread across the internet, with millions of views appearing online within hours. Amid non-stop global stories about disasters, fires, and emergencies, many viewers described the otter video as one of the few genuinely positive moments of the day. And while some parts of the world continue facing floods, wildfires, storms, and search operations, other moments still remind people to slow down and smile, even if it's just an otter proudly showing off a rock. Those were the biggest stories from around the world in the last 24 hours. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next update.